Visions of the Black Heaven, written by Daniel Zien, read by Daniel Zien. Chapter 37. He stood in the foyer, anxiously awaiting the meeting. Voltairion was dressed in the official attire of his position. He checked his habiliments, reaching to touch the skull cap. It was on correctly. His dalmatic was in place. The Roman collar fit perfectly. Cappa magna, a pictorial cross, were placed perfectly. His ratchet, sash, cassock were in order. He affectionately fondled his ring, the ring that was given to him upon receiving his position. It was solid gold, set with a large amethyst. Looking down, he saw his red Italian leather shoes, red representing the blood of Christ. The door opened. He was waved into the obscure office. His audience sat behind a beautiful mahogany desk polished to a mere finish. A small person sat in a plush red leather chair with his back to him, looking out the window. His soft-spoken voice whispered, "What was the result of your trip to Indiana?" Voltairion hesitated, collecting his thoughts one last time, then said, "The legend of the medallions is part true and correct. What we did not know was the complexity of the legend. The sun disk was rumored to have 12 differing disks for the 12 separate dimensions. We could never find evidence of the other sun disks, the only one which priest Maramu took with him into the Peruvian dimension of the blue light. The Indiana medallions are unique and are something like we have never heard of before. There are 24 total, 12, one for each dimension, and 12 matching medallions to gather the Earth's electromagnetic energy. Together they separate the dimensional frequencies or create a space between spaces. That specific region of Indiana is unique. The telluric electrical current is strong, along with the crystalline content of the geological topography, creating a naturally mystical electric vortex. I will admit the task at hand was locating the Gem of Solomon. Logically and historically, it should have been there. Yet, from the experience of this weekend, it is evident the Palladians first arrived, extracting the gem, leaving their technology of energy dimensional diffusion, hiding it from the Orions. I realized areas in Indiana where the stars were not their stars, but the stars of Orion. I witnessed the materialized evidence of evil incarnate, entities of darkness, absorbing the light, creating the black of nothingness. I also observed beings of energy, beings manifested in light, and sounds and beings which migrate or can step between dimensions at will, beings which physically appear to thwart the effort of embodied wickedness. The chair behind the desk moved slightly, and a gentle, soft voice spoken. "What is our next step?" Voltairion hesitated and replied, "Do not know. It seems the cycle of electromagnetic vulnerability has escaped us. Without the assistance of Solomon's gem, the next window of technology, or the window of opportunity, will not be for another 504 years. 504 years, the voice behind the chair gasped. "Yes," Voltairion spoke. "That is the 7 degrees of the Earth's migration of the universe. 1 degree every 72 years. "Well, that does make sense," the voice whispered. "Every 500 years, a major political, social, or economic upheaval occurs. The next upheaval will be a technological. The concept of AI will overtake the social, economic, political, and educational needs of the world. Man will have little to do but subsist." Voltairion hesitated to consider his words before he spoke again. "There is one other possibility. We have seen that energy is sentient and self-aware. We could modulate a vast amount of energy to breach the frequency of the dimensional barrier. Voltairians stopped talking, allowing that to sink in, knowing their last attempt to break that energy barrier was in 1943. In scientific terms, it was not necessarily a success or failure. Yet people are still talking about the Philadelphia experiment more than 70 years later. The voice behind the chair whispered, "Cardinal Kotek, I believe that we will have to wait for the next opportunity. You have your hands full documenting the trip and preparing for your next challenge." The end. Daniel Zien.